take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. It's time!
It's Labor Day, Monday, September 7th. This is the Church of MMA. I'm Tabor Cragen.
My name is Mason Knight, and this is episode 36, Overeem versus Sakai recap. After that, we'll jump into some MMA news, and then we have the Waterson versus Hill preview show. Tabor, where do we begin?
With our Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at the Church of MMA. Guys, hit us up. We are constantly growing. We are constantly sharing stuff on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, pictures, memes, other things to make you guys laugh. Clips of the show, also on our YouTube channel, so make sure you guys go subscribe. We're almost to 100. Push us to that limit, guys. We're so close.
Absolutely.
So we just got to start right with the recap. I'm just going to start right off with this main event, too, because... So what's your game plan, Overeem? Like, what's your get your ass kicked for 2 rounds and then just, like, know he's going to gas out and then fuck him up? I felt like that's what it was the whole time.
Yeah, I thought he stayed calm. I thought he was calculated. Those first 2 rounds had me a little nervous. But with the experience of Alistair Overeem, I looked at that and I went... Man, there's something going on here because I was, obviously you can tell, especially with heavyweights. I was looking at whether or not he was breathing out of the mouth, whether or not he was gassed. He looked fine. He looked calm. He looked composed. Mm-hmm. And I go, and then that 3rd round hit. And then I started to see just a complete change. And then the 4th round was brutal. I thought Sakai actually came out and looked decent in the 4th round. Yeah. But then Alistair Overeem just turned it on, man. He was taking him down. And we're talking about an elite kickboxer here, right? And, like, his ground game and his grappling looked phenomenal. Like, yeah, for what he was able to do and accomplish against Sakai. Yeah,
he's a way more well-rounded MMA fighter than he was 10 years ago.
Yeah,
like, he's just evolved so much in his game. I mean, I feel like his last few fights, he's really found a lot of success on the ground and with the ground and pound. And it kind of shocked me because I meant no disrespect earlier, but it was just weird because I really felt like he took the first 2 rounds off. He was letting Sakai gas himself. He was letting him throw those big bombs. He was letting him engage in the clinch. I mean, I don't want to say he was eating shots because he wasn't. He was covering up for most of that. He wasn't taking damage. Yeah, he lost on the cards, obviously. But, I mean, it seemed like that was his plan. He knew the big guy was going to come in and outstrike himself, and it seemed like that's what happened.
Yeah.
Because the second he had those takedowns, he didn't have enough gas to get back up. And it seemed like he almost didn't even attempt to at some point.
Sakai definitely seemed gassed in that 4th. And then coming out in that 5th, too. And we could talk about the stoppage. We could talk about whether or not we thought that was an early stoppage or not. But Sakai looked beat up. He looked tired. He looked exhausted. And as soon as that went to the ground, he turned to the side and kind of, was starting to curl up a little bit. And Alistair was just dropping
Bombs, heavy bombs, heavy elbows, man.
I mean, just those elbows and those hammer fists, like landing flush and clean. And I'm like, whoo, I'm glad I don't fight. I'm glad I don't do this for a living because, God. And those kicks too, man. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. Yeah, man. I was very impressed with Alistair Overeem. People had questioned his chin about 2 or 3 years ago. I can remember this because, you know what? I got to be honest. I think I was one of those people to a certain extent. Same. He had these vicious knockouts with Rosenstruck, with Francis Ngannou. And you start to look at this and you go, man, should this guy, with being 40 years old, getting older, he's going to turn 41. But I don't know what happened with Alistair Overeem over the course of his last 2 or 3 fights, but he has looked so impressive. And you know what? He looked really impressive against Rosenstruck, too. He just got caught in that fight. I had him winning that fight, like plain as day, but he just got caught in the 5th round. And that does happen sometimes, being heavyweights. But I am so impressed with Alistair Overeem, and I believe that he really is a legitimate top 5 heavyweight contender. And I think he could potentially fight for a belt one last time.
Yeah, well, he keeps saying it. This is his last run.
Yeah.
And I really feel like it is, dude. Like, this is it.
It has to be.
This is it. This is your best chance. He's calling for that Rosenstruck rematch. He's totally cool with that.
Well, and that's the fight to make.
Yeah.
That's the fight we have to see.
I agree.
Again, going back to that fight, Alistair Overeem was up on the judges' scorecards, on my card, I'm assuming on yours as well. Mm-hmm. And Rosenstruck caught him big.
Yeah, it's
that's
either
the fight to run back.
It's either that or Derek Lewis, but they're doing Derek Lewis blades. So,
yes, they are.
That's it.
That's it.
Yep. It really is. I mean, JDS, I guess, but he just took that L.
And here's the thing, too. With how much Alistair Overeem has done for the sport and how he has always been a yes man. Alistair Overeem has always been a yes man. If he goes out there and beats a contender in Rosenstruck, I'm okay. I'm okay if this guy gets a shot. Like,
Absolutely.
he deserves it. He looks really, really well put. I mean, obviously, it's Alistair Overeem.
Yeah.
Like, let's not kid ourselves here. But I just mean all well-rounded striker, because, I mean, he is a stand-up guy, but his ground game is what's impressing me most, man.
Yeah.
I mean, when he
Especially
gets
in
in
his last
top,
few fights.
his top control and the way he's able to just dominate and just drop hammer fists and just, I don't know. He's executing his game plan to perfection, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And he's covering up well. He's playing good defense, and he's playing it's strategy here. Like, I never felt at any time that Alistair Overeem was in trouble.
Yeah.
During this fight.
Absolutely. I think
He was losing
completely
rounds,
safe.
absolutely.
He was
He was
completely safe
yeah.
in those first two, even when he was up against the fence in the clinch, landing. I mean, the guy I don't even want to say he's landing because he was covered up.
Yeah.
He didn't take much damage.
No,
yeah,
he
he was
didn't.
losing, but exactly, he didn't take any damage. So much credit to Alistair. The
Yeah,
defense
it's
is
so
looking
impressive.
great.
Yeah, it really is. And this guy goes out, and if he were to beat Rosenstruck, you got to give him a chance. He's been a yes man. He's Alistair Overeem. He's a household name.
Yeah.
Give him that shot, man. So, yep, that's where I stand. Great fight, nonetheless, though. And Sakai, let's talk. Let's give some credit to Sakai too,
his
because you
striking
know what?
looked really good.
You and I counted him out in the first and second round. I think you had first round, I had second round, or something along those lines. You know, we kind of counted Sakai out, but he looked really good, well put together. His cardio impressed me. I gotta say, he gassed a little bit in the fourth and fifth, absolutely. But I mean, when you're getting punched like that, it's real hard to keep that gas tank going. But I thought overall, I was really impressed with him, and I think moving forward, like give him another 2-3 years, he could be a top 5 contender.
Absolutely. Young up and coming contender series guy. I mean,
Yeah.
shit, he's only had a few fights in this division, and he's already top 10 fighting in
Yeah.
Alistair Overeem.
I mean, wasn't he on the contender series, like 2 years ago?
Not even. I think it was last year.
Last year, yeah,
Or
exactly.
even
I mean,
sooner or something. I don't know. It
He
wasn't
looks
that long ago.
for what he's able to do in this short a time in the UFC. I'm very impressed with him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's many matchups you can match him up with that are just extremely intriguing as well.
Oh, yeah, even now.
Olenek coming off that loss. You got Ivanov, other people like that. Even a JDS coming off a loss. Why not?
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah.
JDS.
Volkov.
Because that's
There's so many good
another
fights.
tough test.
Yeah, a lot of them. This heavyweight division, I've said it in the past on this podcast, it's one of the weaker ones, I think. But you know what? If they keep on getting new guys like Sakai, man, it's going to be really strong real quick.
Yeah.
Because the top 5 to 7 are still legit, like world-class contenders, but we just need a little bit more to beef up that top 15.
Yes, we do.
I'd be real happy. Okay, so picks. Before we move on, I had Overeem in a third, TKO, so that's 2 points for me.
Alrighty, and I had Overeem
second.
second KO, so 2 points for me as well.
Alrighty. So co-main, Ovin St. Preux, Alonzo Menefield. Boy, this was a good fight. I
was a
think
great
this was
fight.
pretty much fight of the night. I think he got 50K for the
no,
knockout of the night. I thought it was a great fight.
You thought it was fight of the night?
I guess if fight of the night's back and forth and shit. Okay, no, I forgot about this fight. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
We'll talk
Second
about
I
that
saw
later,
that
but
name.
yeah, I was
second
like, hold
saw
up,
that
hold
name.
up.
Wait a second. Never mind.
But
he did get 50K.
Nonetheless, yeah, this was a great fight. And I had talked about before this podcast how Ovin St. Preux, OSP for short, I thought he, looked a little hesitant in his last fights throwing, but I thought he just let go when need be. Like, seriously, I thought he was very controlled, and he was throwing combinations when he needed to. I didn't think he looked hesitant. I thought his kicks looked great. He was landing good combinations against Menefield, and Menefield tried. I mean, he's got a lot of power, and he was swinging hard, and he landed at the end of that first round, I want to say. He landed a big combination.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, damn.
Yeah, just lighting him up.
Yeah, he was. But overall, I mean, OSP got the job done. Very impressive outing.
And a great way to utilize your length and your size advantage, your reach. I mean, the way he was landing those jabs and straights, it was really beautiful. This was the most chess matchup of the entire night, I believe. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Both men's. Because, I mean, once OSP kind of felt the power, tested his chin a little bit with that Menefield power, I feel like he got real confident and was willing to trade. But he just stayed so smart.
Well,
he wasn't taking big shots.
No, he wasn't. And keep in mind, I mean, OSP just fought at heavyweight against
Big
who
Ben.
was it? Big Ben? Yeah.
So
it's like
he felt that heavyweight power.
that guy can withstand a punch.
Yeah, absolutely. So the second round with that check, I think was it left hook?
It was a left.
Yeah,
It was a
coming
left,
out, going backwards. was just
Adios,
beautiful. It was
clean,
perfect.
beautiful. And then he just fell flat on his face.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he just, as soon as that happened, you call him the fight.
Yeah, the ref didn't even give him a chance to follow up with
And
anything.
respect to OSP too, because he saw that. And that's a situation where a fighter, you know, and you're not going to hate him for it, could have definitely just dropped a fist from hell, jumping on top of him, landing 3 or 4 unnecessary strikes, though okay, because the ref's not stopping it.
Yeah.
You know, just because the ref's got to get over there. But he saw that he was out, and he didn't punish him unnecessarily. I do respect that when I see that in fighters, because it is hard to restrain yourself. But he knew that Menafield was out. So, you know, props to him on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a vet move. Vet
It
move
was.
overall.
And it's a little more gangster, too, when you could just knock a guy out and kind of just know.
Get the walk away a little bit.
The walk away, it's nice.
Yeah. I mean, does he get a top 15 opponent after a win like that? I don't think so.
I mean, maybe. It is OSP. He did fight John Jones.
Yeah, and he's a big name, and he's 37 years old now. So
So he's getting to that point in his career.
Yeah.
Where he needs
to put a
something.
run together, maybe, you know, to get maybe that one last run. Like Overeem, maybe, I mean, I'm not going to say he's done. You know, OSP looks pretty young for a 37-year-old.
How about Shogun?
Oh,
13.
there you go.
Yeah.
That's the fight. That's the fight right there.
Shogun
Shogun and
and
OSP,
OSP.
that'd be a great fight.
I mean, man, I think OSP would win that one, but just
absolutely.
because he's just so big. He's so big. I don't know. And Shogun, at this point in his career, I don't know if I'd want to see that for him. But.
Yeah. Yeah, Ryan Spann, that's also another
Ryan
one.
Spann's
Right,
another
Paul
one.
Craig, you know, anyone in that, you know, lower
Yeah,
of the top
that
15.
11 to
I think that's
15.
perfect.
Yep.
Perfect for OSP. Okay, so I took OSP, second round sub, 2 points for me again.
And I had Menafield, but that didn't work. So 0 points for me.
Okay, so the next fight was supposed to be Rosa versus Sajara Eubanks. Fell through. I don't know. I don't even remember why that.
I don't know
through.
why it fell through either.
I don't know if it was
why.
weight cutting or COVID. I mean, it's something that I could easily Google, but I'm just not going to.
Right.
But either way, that sucked. That was a decent fight that we did pick. I was banking on some points there. But this fight did still happen because I was nervous that this one was going to get canceled and then the card was just going to go to shit real quick. Because it might have. So Michel Pereira and Zalim Imadaev. This was hyped up to be a really, really good fight.
Man. Go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So this was hyped up to be a good fight. Real back and forth, real well matched up fight, I would say. Zalim Imadaev is a fucking savage. Yeah, he came off a first round KO, I believe, with Danny Roberts, but the dude's just a beast. But the way Michel Pereira just dominated him for 3 rounds just proved that this man, he's a real fucking threat at 170, dude. Yeah. He's a real fucking threat, especially when he controls himself and isn't doing backflips every 10 seconds like he has done in the past.
Here's the thing with Michel Pereira. This man, if he continues to win and he doesn't blow his gas tank doing backflips on people or doing like crazy, you know, heel kick somersaults, and he really composes himself in there. He is such a freak athlete. He is so quick. He is so dynamic. I mean, those punches coming off the fence, those flying knees he was throwing,
the Showtime kick?
Missing. Yeah. They were missing by millimeters, man. I mean, he looked so impressive. He is toying with Imadaev, man, just smacking him, literally bitch slapped him.
Yeah, in the third.
At one point, which is so disrespectful.
So disrespectful.
It's so disrespectful.
Well, did you see the weigh-ins?
In Russian and Indian culture, like, it's disrespectful.
Well, Zalim Imadaev bitch slapped him at the face-offs, I guess.
Really?
Yeah, so that's why he was doing that.
That makes sense.
Remember, he loaded that slap up.
Did.
He goes,
and
he got it ready.
He landed it flush, too. I mean, he, you know, for lack of a better word, he almost, I mean, especially if Imadaev did do that, he embarrassed him. Mm-hmm. He embarrassed him.
He did.
I mean, because Michel.
What were the numbers? Like 60-something to 13? Something like
to 18. Oh, yeah. He had 6 strikes in each round. That's it. He landed 6 strikes in each round.
It's dominant.
And Michel Pereira was just on fire. And I'm telling you, dude, this guy, mark my words, if he can continue to win, he's got that superstar capability.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the detriments, and I am not of this thinking or mentality, but I'm talking about casual fans. Okay, not me. But you know, Anderson Silva dealt with this. You know, where Anderson Silva didn't learn English for an extended period of his career, which hurt his publicity, which I think is the dumbest thing. Like, I don't care if there's a translator or not. But for the casuals, it's a big deal. If he can learn, English, just even a little bit of English, like Habib goes, I smash. That's awesome. You cut a promo with that shit, But Michel Pereira is so dynamic. He's so entertaining. It's so much fun to watch. I get hyped up every time he's on a card.
Yeah.
I'll watch him on a prelim. Like, I will make it a thing. Like, he could be the 3 p.m. fight on a prelim, and I'm tuning in to watch that guy.
Absolutely. Every time. Every single time. Because now he's one of these guys, he's in an exciting fight every single time, man. And he's starting to understand to conserve his energy because he is so explosive. He is such a freak athlete that now he's conserving his energy. And I think we're really seeing the real Michel Pereira come out. And I think that was one of our things that we would talk about him is like, dude, if you wouldn't blow your gas tank, you could use that energy to really put on an entertaining fight. Absolutely.
Because you don't need that much energy to put your hands down and, do this like he was doing. That shit, people love it, especially the casuals.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm going to use him again. Anderson Silva. There were times where he was in the Matrix where he would just move his head and he would put his hands down and he would look at someone like, come on, bro. Throw for once. Try to hit me. That's what Michel Pereira, he has that capability to do, man. I am so excited to see this guy. I hope he just keeps winning, man. Keeps winning and winning because he can be that guy.
Yeah, he really could be the star. He could be the entertaining fighter. He could be everyone's favorite fighter. Yep. I mean, you set him up well. You set him up against guys that he could beat, dominate like he just did. Yeah, I mean, this was no tune-up fight.
No.
I know Michelle was on, I think a 3-fight losing streak or a 2-fight losing streak? I mean, a 2-fight losing streak. It was fucking Diego Sanchez, okay. Yeah. He whooped his ass for 3 rounds and then got disqualified.
Yep.
And the Canadian guy, he just let him blow his load in the first round and then fucked him up for 2 rounds. It was perfect. I don't think he's going to let that happen again.
No, neither do I.
If he fights like this, dude, he's going to be a very, very tough man to beat at 170. I mean, I don't want to say let's just push him into a top 15 fight right away. I don't think we should.
No. I'm not saying that either. I'm not.
I know, and you weren't, but I wouldn't be shocked if they did.
Well, neither would I. I mean, with a performance like that, I mean, he just, God, I'm
Anthony
excited
Pettis,
for him.
Robbie Lawler, someone like that. Jeff
Neal?
What?
I'd like that. I'd like a Robbie.
Yeah.
Because that would be a true test for him. Robbie's coming off a little bit of a skid.
But off of that loss, I really feel like Robbie's his last fight needs to be like a Carlos Condit. I don't want to say he's done.
Yeah. But I mean, he's on the tail end.
Yeah. I think maybe legacy fights for Robbie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that. I respect that. Yeah. Absolutely. But nonetheless, an impressive performance by Michel Pereira. And I look forward to his next fight. And please continue to do what you are doing here.
Yes.
Don't blow your gas tank. Be conservative. And really just, because you're so much fun to watch. So much fun to watch.
Yes. Okay, so I took Pereira first round KO. That is 1 point for me.
And I took Pereira decision, and I almost pulled that off if it wasn't for that submission with the last 20 seconds to go. So, Michelle, I talked a lot of praise for you, but...
Come on, my guy. Watch
just
the
let
podcast.
That fight. Yeah, watch the podcast. Determine
and
know
that's how you got to finish it.
Listen to some fat guy telling you what to do on the podcast instead of going out there and just getting the win. So
Absolutely, that's what he's got to do. Andre Muniz. It was something weird. It was a Munoz. It was like Muniz. I don't know.
We didn't pick this fight.
I know, but it was added.
Was.
We got to talk about it real quick because it was beautiful against Fabinski.
Yep.
Fabinski went for the double leg takedown, just pushed him up against the fence, was trying to Colby Covington, finally got it, and then got armbar tapped real quick. Yeah. That was.
Well, you don't
I thought he broke his arm at first. I really did think it was broken. It was really hyperextended. That guy was fucking jacked, so that was sweet. But I wish I would have picked this fight because I would have taken Brian Kelleher first round, probably by TKO. But this guy made his UFC debut against Brian Kelleher and got fucking guillotine choked in 10 seconds?
Yeah, it was wild.
15
39 seconds. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It was fast.
Crazy. I hope.
Well, you can't go for those takedowns. I mean, Kelleher's guillotine is just, it's too tight. And especially that early, you're not sweating, you're not doing anything. That thing was locked and
under
it was
the neck
not coming
instantly.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were not going to slip out of that, my guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't happening. Good on him. So he deserves a big fight, I think. I mean, other than the Cody Stamen loss, he's looking at a three win 2020, man. He's fought in 4 times already.
Yes.
So, holy shit, and he wants to fight again 5 times in 2020. Give this man a big fight, please.
Absolutely. If you're a yes man and you're out there and you're competing nonstop and you're still winning, because you know what, dude, that's 75% right there.
Yep.
If you're still winning, hey, give this guy fights, man.
Yep, here's the fight. Rob Font. I haven't seen Rob Font fight in fucking forever. Rob Font, Brian Keller.
I like
Make it happen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mason. MMA news time. Let's do it. Well, I don't really know where to start. I mean, we're going to start here in this UFC welterweight division, but there's like so many things happening. I guess we got to start with the champ.
Let's start with the champ.
Usman versus Burns has been announced, UFC 256 in December.
I love it. I'm good. I like this. Let's get it done.
Yeah.
I am ready to see this fight. This is the fight that I wanted to see. I was so bummed.
Yeah.
I mean, I was happy. You know, Jorge Masvidal, dynamic, interesting fight. But I knew how that one was going to shake out. Yeah. I don't know how this one's going to shake out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really don't. Like, this is a toss-up. Gilbert Burns, I don't know if someone lit a fire under his ass or what, but he has looked so good in these last year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, I am just so excited for this fight because I think this is the true number one contender in the welterweight division, man.
Yeah.
I really do.
And a lot of people are throwing shade at it. I mean, we saw Ben Askren tweet. He said, going to be the worst watch title fight in history.
But it doesn't matter.
It won't be a big pay-per-view number.
It won't. Let's not kid ourselves there. But again, I would much rather have the UFC get back to business and start giving number one contenders their shots, whether or not they're a big name or not. I respect it so much more.
Yes.
And again, you're going to get a guy like me who tunes in every single weekend. It does not matter if I got to watch the fights on a Sunday morning. Yes. I am tuning in every single week, especially if you're putting a number one contender against the champ.
Yes.
Because
that's what we want. That's just what we want. You want the champion fighting the best guy in that division. You want him defending his belt. You don't want fucking these crazy super fights. I mean, we kind of do.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, yeah. So like a BMF occasion, you know, like a
Jorge
Masvidal.
You know, when the hype is just, when the hype's real, you gotta do what's gonna sell.
Right.
And
but
it's
gotta be the occasional. It can't be the every other chance that we get, we're throwing in a legend who's ranked number 12 against the champ. Like, that shit's just so annoying to me.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
Yeah. So I'm very excited for this fight. You know, I mean, the first time it was gonna happen, it was my most hyped fight of that entire card. It really was, easily, because Gilbert Burns is a serious threat to that title.
Oh, yeah.
Serious threat to Usman. And Usman was changing his camp, doing all this weird stuff. You think it was the title challenger that would be like, okay, you got to go somewhere else. Mm-hmm. You know, not the champ, but the champ's leaving, changing things up. Changed it up with Trevor Whitman, I believe, which
Trevor Whitman.
Great fucking pick.
I don't know if you could get better than that.
Really, honestly. It's a great pick. So I'm very excited for that fight. And it's in December. So every 6 months,
a little ways away.
It's a little ways away.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little while.
But I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm okay with, as long as champs are defending twice a year, I'm okay with it. Yeah. You don't have to defend 3 times a year because, I mean, think about it. When you're the champ, you got that added pressure. You got that added press. You got to do a full and complete training camp.
They deserve the time.
They do.
They deserve that time. They deserve the,
Absolutely.
4 to 6 weeks off, and then you can start your training camp. They deserve that extra,
I am totally cool with champs just fighting twice a year. I am. It's just like, as a fan, and because you want to see the best. You want to see the best champ go out there. You want to see the best fighter possible. I think sometimes when champions fight 3 times a year, they can kind of lose it. Because you don't have. And you and I will never know this, like the feeling of being a world champion, but you do see the fire kind of go away a little bit sometimes when these guys are fighting 3 times a year. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah. So I guess, Jorge Masvidal, I guess we got to go to the next thing. Jorge Masvidal
jump into this
versus Nate Diaz 2 is in the works. And, I'm not that hype, guys. I don't give a shit about this fight, really.
See, I do. I do. I'll tell you why. Jorge Masvidal fighting Kamaru Usman, short notice, okay? Yeah. And I get that, and I understand that. But Jorge Masvidal, I felt, kind of started getting tired in rounds 4 and 5. I'm not saying gassed.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not saying gassed. I'm not saying it was egregious by any stretch of the imagination. He also had, a week to, even though he was in training camp, let's not kid ourselves. But, he had a week to prep, and then he had to fly to Abu Dhabi. There's a lot of circumstances.
And he had to cut 20 pounds.
And he had to cut 20 pounds. There's a lot of variables that go into a situation like that. And so I understand that, and I have some grace for that. But man, that is when Nate Diaz is at his best. That's when the Diaz brothers, period, are at their best, is round 4 and 5. And I really wanted to see. I'm not saying the outcome would have been any different. I'm not saying that. But it's still something I wanted to see. Because I do believe, Jorge Masvidal has the capability to go out there and piece him up for 3 rounds. But Nate Diaz is going to make that shit interesting in rounds 4 and 5. Like, he just is. And I think it's something we wanted to see, and I think it's something we deserve to see. And nothing was more infuriating to me than to fight for the BMF belt and then to have a doctor call it off.
Yeah.
It's the BMF belt.
Yeah.
Like, the literal name of that belt is baddest motherfucker, yet it was a doctor stoppage on an eyebrow cut. And to know,
it was
to
tragic.
know like bad on Nate Diaz or Jorge Masvidal, they had nothing to do with that. But it's just like, I mean, well, I guess Jorge did. He was a guy punching him. But, so for me, like, I do want to see this again, and I like it. I like this. This is what I want to see a Jorge Masvidal do, because he's not going to fight for the belt right away, and Nate Diaz is one of those big-name guys. These are what, like, belts like this, like the BMF belt, is for.
Yeah.
That, in my opinion, and that's what the UFC needs to do. They need to separate the number one contenders with these fun little super fights that we can do. And I do feel like this is a super fight. So I am excited for it because it's not for a world title. If this were for a world title, it'd be a different story. I'd be pissed about it, but it's not.
I'm just the whole time, I really didn't want to even mention him in this episode, but it's like he's in the back of my head the whole time when I think it is what happened to the Conor McGregor fight? Because that's the fight we all wanted, was George Masvidal and Conor McGregor already, or Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz too. What is going on with it? I don't believe this bullshit that he's retired.
No,
They've got to be
he's
talking in the
definitely
background.
not.
They're definitely negotiating.
Yeah, of course.
What's happening?
Right.
They're really going to go all of 2020 with no Conor fight? I mean, other than the Cowboy fight in the year, why? I don't get it. I just don't get it. I mean, it seemed like that was the obvious moneymaker, but this is the next best, I guess.
Yeah, this is the next best that you can do, and who knows? Who knows with Conor? It's one of those things, man.
I don't believe he's retired. I think there's definitely negotiations going on.
I think that's what it is. I think Conor just wants. I mean, think about this, okay? Jorge Masvidal contract negotiations fell through the first time with that Usman fight. He wants to get paid, and he's a big star. We saw the pay-per-view numbers. He deserves to get paid because he brings in the eyeballs, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm not debating that. We've seen it. We've seen the evidence of that. But so does Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
But both of them want a big piece of the pie. That's why I think that fight will actually be really hard to make, because both those guys want to get paid for that fight. And really, when you're talking about the UFC and stuff.
Yeah, but when you're talking biggest fight of all time now, because that's what it is.
Oh, yeah, it would be.
I think it is. I think it's bigger than Nate Diaz, Conor 2, which is, I think, number one pay-per-view buys, right?
Right. Well, yeah, probably.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that beats it by a million, at least. I mean, what, 2 million
huge.
buys? Or what was it, 2 million buys or 1.5 million buys
Question,
for
though.
the Usman fight? That was insane.
Here's a hypothetical for you. Do you think Conor McGregor, because he is the businessman that he is, Jorge Masvidal is coming off a loss, and whether or not it's on a 9-day notice, I don't believe stock has gone down very much, but it does slightly go down when you lose to the champ, even though you only had a 9-day notice, whatever it was, okay? But if Jorge Masvidal goes out there and defends his BMF belt, who is the next guy in line? How does that fight not sell even more with Jorge Masvidal coming off a win? Here's the thing, too.
It's got to be attendance.
Yes, and check this out. Whoever wins that fight, Conor McGregor's fighting next, because he gets it set up perfect. I think Conor is doing the business thing. And Conor, who cares?
I know, exactly.
But he's not fighting for a world champion, so I'm willing to talk about it, and I'm willing to kind of break this whole thing down. It is a win-win scenario for Conor McGregor. Jorge Masvidal wins. He gets to fight in the biggest super fight of all time for the BMF belt. If Nate Diaz wins, he gets to fight for the BMF belt for the trilogy, which will still be the greatest, or not the greatest, but the biggest fight of all time. It is a win-win for Conor McGregor. He wants to see these two duke it out, and I really believe Conor will fight the winner of this.
Yeah, I guess it just comes down to I just don't want to see this fight again. Like I said earlier, I just don't care for it, dude. I really think George fucks him up again for 5 rounds. If it has to be 5 rounds, it's gonna be 5 rounds.
Okay, so this is hypothetical.
He's that much better.
Will you take this fight in order to get the winner to fight Conor McGregor? Are you willing to do that?
Yes, but I mean, it's like, is Conor the goal? Is Conor? Oh, I guess
Absolutely.
he always
Conor
is. He's always been the goal.
Conor is always the goal, especially for fighters like Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal that may never get another title shot. I mean, Jorge might, but he might not either.
Yeah.
So I mean, what's the perfect scenario? These guys, all 3 of them, fight each other for a couple more years, and then boom, they're all fucking millionaires, making a lot of money, having a good old time, and it helps Conor McGregor's legacy. I mean, technically, and come on, technically, Conor won 3 belts if he does win the BMF belt.
Yeah.
You know, he can say he was the featherweight champ, he was the lightweight champ, and, you know, the BMF belt.
Yeah.
And the BMF champ. So it's a win-win for him. You know, I feel in a lot of ways.
Yeah. There's just one person just being left out in all of this. Poor Leon Scott. He's just in the UK, just mad.
Anarchy in the UK.
He's just so pissed.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's getting left out of all of this.
Well, he wanted that George fight. He really wanted that Masvidal fight. Now that that's not happening, you know, and I get it. I really get it. In George's perspective, like, what's going to make the most money right fucking now?
Right.
And that's probably a Nate Diaz fight, if not
a Conor
fight. So
of course.
I get it. But, you know, he might get a fight. They're talking him and Wonder Boy for a main event. They don't have any dates down. They're still negotiating. Like, I heard this fight at least a week ago.
And you know what?
Nothing's really happened.
Considering the circumstances, I'd like to see this fight.
Yeah.
You were just talking the other week about how you haven't seen Wonder Boy fight in a little while.
Yeah, he needs a big
This is
fight.
the perfect matchup because you know what? The winner of this is a top contender,
Absolutely.
if not the number one contender for the next shot.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Actually, yeah.
Because that's the only
more
way
I'm thinking
Wonder Boy
about
gets a title shot. It's because it's not Tyron.
No,
Like,
it's
if Tyron,
definitely not.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, if Tyron wins, and then like Colby can't get a title shot, and I think Uncle Dana's smart because he doesn't want to give Colby another shot. So who does he feed him to? Here, take Tyron Woodley, who's lost twice. Because I mean, if he beats Tyron, he's not getting a shot right away. How can you justify that? You just beat a guy who lost 2 times in a row. You should have beat him. I think Dana's smart. I think he's going to give the next shot to either Wonder Boy or Leon Edwards.
I think it's Leon. Yeah, well, yeah, especially if Wonder Boy beats Leon, you definitely have that.
But you know
fight.
you know Wonder Boy's getting that shot, which I'm fine with because I think Wonder Boy's one of the best.
Absolutely. I just want to see the man fight. He hasn't fought forever.
Yeah, and I like this fight. I really do. I like this matchup quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, especially for 5 rounds. Really test because Leon. I mean, I don't see him winning on the feet with Wonder Boy, dude. Like,
no,
you do not win on the feet with Wonder Boy.
He's got to take him down.
He's got to
take him down.
He's got to
implement that ground game.
And who knows if his wrestling is good enough to do that? So it's a very intriguing matchup.
It is. I like that fight a lot.
I really like that fight. So hopefully it happens. Hopefully it happens soon because I mean, shit, Tyron and Colby are fighting next week.
Yes, they are.
It's like, okay, shit's happening. Shit's really happening. All right. Last bit of news for this welterweight division. Big news, I would say. Really big news. I mean, we just talked about his brother, Nate Diaz, taking a fight, but Nick Diaz wants to make a comeback, dude. Did you see the picture of him making his weight cut?
I did.
On Instagram?
Yeah, he looks pretty good.
Looks shredded.
Yeah, he does.
Looks in really good shape. Apparently did like a 14-week diet, did a test weight cut, says he can make 165 or 175.
Now, why would he go out and say a thing like that?
Because he wants a lightweight. I think he wants to fight a lightweight at 165. That's what I think. But I don't know who. I just don't know who. Like, I mean, you would think he would want to take a welterweight fight. I mean,
well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. And not only that, but he's 37 years old right now. So it's like, do you really want to cut that extra weight? You know, at this point in your career on the comeback fight, I'd rather just see him fight at 170, honestly. But
do you think they would do Nick Diaz, Conor McGregor, 165?
I don't care to see it. I don't care to see it.
I mean, I would rather see Nate. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
I just don't know who he would fight.
I don't think Conor takes that fight. I don't think he signs on the dotted line because there's nothing to win for Conor there. Okay, cool. You beat a guy who's been retired for, 3 years?
Yeah.
All right, cool. There's nothing to gain there. Even if it is, Nate Diaz's older brother. There's nothing to gain there. So I don't see that fight happening.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the rankings right now, dude. I don't know who the fuck he would fight. I just don't.
Who, Nick?
Robbie Lawler?
That'd be a good comeback fight.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that. And just to see where Nick is at. I think see where he's at in his career. Let's see if he can really fight these elite guys. I mean, because he's taken some time off, man. I can't even remember the last time he fought. It had to have been 2016 or 17.
We have to mention this. Have you seen the interview he did with Ariel Helwani?
Yeah, but that's just
caused a lot of controversy.
Yeah, that's just the Diaz brothers, though, man. He's a little strange.
Well, their personality is that's just the way they grew up.
Yeah,
they saw a lot of horrible, fucked up shit, and it changed them for the rest of their lives. It's just the way they are.
Exactly.
But I definitely think that brain damage has a bit of a factor to do
well,
with
it definitely could be. Yeah, his last fight was in 2015 against Anderson Silva, so he has been out for 5 years.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. If he wants to make a comeback, I'm not going to tell him he shouldn't. If he wants to make some fucking money, I think he really should. I just don't know who
at all. I just
and you weren't.
And Robbie Lawler, that's what I'm thinking. I like that one. Give him a guy, give him Give him a legend, and let's see how he can come out and perform. Because you never know. You never know taking 5 years off.
Yeah.
He's got to have a guy that is a manageable fighter. Don't go. And obviously Dana's not going to do this, but you don't want to throw him to an elite contender after taking 5 years off. It's just not the smartest thing.
I guess Lawler and Pettis. That's the only people I could think of. You know, 14, 15.
Yeah.
Or even like a Carlos Condit.
Yeah, Condit.
You know, anybody, dude. I just don't know who. I mean, he's such a big name. I would think he'd want a big fight.
Yeah,
I just don't know who. Okay. So, last bit I guess actually we have one more thing in the welterweight.
Kind of,
This
yeah.
kind of ties into that. But Hazmat Chimaev, he's back.
He's
finally back. In the works for next weekend, not this upcoming weekend, but the weekend after, September 19th. Gerald Merchart at 185, a true 185er, by the way. So this guy just doesn't give a fuck.
No.
You know, yeah, I'll fight a 185er.
Chimaev is a beast.
Just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah,
I mean, you're going to fight a true 185er, and they're saying if he gets the win, they're going to set up a fight the next week with Damian Maia at 170.
Well, and Merchart's not a small 185er either.
And
that's what's insane about it.
And they're testing his jiu-jitsu right off the bat. Gerald Merchart and then Damian Maia. Like, okay, that's a stepping stone, but still, Gerald Merchart's a jiu-jitsu savage.
If this guy goes out and he can pull off a double win against both of these guys,
oh yeah,
what you gotta? I mean, what?
Like
you got to throw him to an elite contender.
In both
Damian
divisions.
Maia is. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Like no disrespect to Damian Maia, he still is a top 15 guy. Might even be a top 10 guy.
I really think he might be top 5. You could make arguments. I mean, yeah, he lost to Burns, but you can make arguments.
But still, man. I mean, nonetheless, I mean, he goes out and wins. That's going to be insane. Yeah, Damian Maia's 7 right now.
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude. Like, what the fuck? Those are big fights.
Huge.
It's weird. Like, are we gonna have a guy that's making runs in 2 divisions at the same time? Has that ever happened in the history of UFC?
No, but if anyone could pull it off, and I don't mean to get too much behind this hype train, but it does appear to be Chimaev.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy scares me. Like, when I go to bed and I have a nightmare, I normally see Chimaev on top of me beating the living piss out of me, and me not even throwing a strike. So, you know, those are what nightmares are made of.
I'm gonna be real.
Chimaev.
Since I've seen this guy fight, every time I close my eyes, I see him.
Oh, that's adorable.
I mean, it's a little scary.
It is. No, it is. It's not. It's straight out of a horror film.
Yeah, this guy's a savage, man. I can't wait. I mean, I'm very high on him. I'm very high on his skills, but I mean, it hasn't been tested.
No, it hasn't.
You know, we've seen 2 fights, 2 different divisions, 2 different body types. I'm just very intrigued. You know, if he wins against Merchart, that's just going to tell you, okay, it doesn't matter if he isn't cutting a lot of weight at 185. He can still compete with these bigger guys because Merchart's a big man. Yeah, he's a big 85er.
Yes, he is.
And Maia used to fight at 85, so it's a big 70 as well. It's just,
Yep.
It's a huge test in the grappling realm, and I'm glad he's going up against grapplers. I don't want to see him go up against a savage kickboxer right now because we know what's going to happen. He's just going to take him down.
Right.
Let's see someone who could fight off their back.
Yeah, let's see how good he is on the ground. Let's really test him.
Yeah.
And I love these matchups, so I'm all for it.
All for it. I mean, that's definitely, with the Damian Maia fight for sure, that's getting thrown to the fucking wolves.
Yeah.
Straight to the wolves right off the bat. Right off the bat. And that might be his retirement fight as well.
It very well could be.
Yeah.
Especially if he gets pummeled.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
All right. This next piece of news, unfortunately, and I saw this about a week ago. Mm-hmm. And man, I was devastated about this. Glover Teixeira tested positive for COVID, so that Thiago Santos fight is now off. And the replacement is Waterson versus Hill. And no disrespect to these 2 girls, because I am looking forward to this fight, and I love Angela Hill. I love Michelle Waterson.
Yeah.
But it's not the main event that I wanted to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't need to see this for 5 rounds. I think you could sum this fight up in 3 rounds. Though I'm very excited, this card has gotten a lot weaker because of it. And again, no disrespect to the ladies, but like you were talking about 2 contenders in the light heavyweight division with huge implications.
Yes.
Huge implications. And Glover Teixeira, the time, father time is ticking. I got to see if he can beat Thiago Santos to see if he can make one more run. How mind-blowing would it be if Teixeira went out there and got the win against Santos? I mean, you got to give the guy a shot. And how cool, what a Rocky Balboa type story. Yeah. If Glover Teixeira could get a shot at the belt one more time at 41, 42 years old?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I am a little disappointed.
It'd be like a movie.
Yeah, it would be. And so I'm a little disappointed that we're not getting this fight. But for what they were able to replace it with, I am excited for this Waterson Hill fight.
Yeah, I really like Michelle Waterson. I really like Angela Hill. I mean,
I like both of these girls a lot.
It'll be a great fight, but you just summed it all up. It's just not the main event we wanted. Yeah. It's the truth. I just can't wait. I don't know when they reschedule this. It has to be soon, though. I mean, we have main events, essentially. I mean, I see them maybe throwing it on the Khabib Gaethje card. I mean, that card is fucking ridiculously stacked.
Yeah, it is.
Like, ridiculously stacked if they get all those fights on it.
This is going to be funny. We'll talk about this. Did they reschedule that Ankalaev versus Ian Cutelaba fight?
I think it's on that card.
What?
I think it's on Khabib
254?
Yeah. I'm telling you, 254. God. If it's not 254, it's 253.
Bro, that
I would think it's 253,
ridiculous.
Actually, because that's just in a couple weeks.
Oh, okay,
so that would make more sense. I just don't know, man. I mean, this next fight card,
I just want to see that. I just want to see that fight again.
Yeah, well, it needs to happen. I mean, fuck. There's 5 fights announced for this next fight card.
Which is this Saturday.
Which is the Saturday, the Waterson card. I mean, who knows if they even throw more on it. I mean, last weekend it had 7 fights. Mm-hmm. Crazy.
But I do, at the same time, I never want to get to a point where, and we're definitely not complaining, but I never want to get to a point where we're like, oh, come on, what the heck? Because you know what? Again, I will go back to this every time because we're MMA fans. We are blessed to have a card every single week to watch fights and watch entertaining fights. I mean, this last card was pretty freaking good, man.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, there were some really great fights. I think there's going to be some good fights on this upcoming card, too. So, again, shout out to the UFC. Just getting it done during these crazy times in the pandemic. Thank you for having fights weekly. Because that's a tough feat, man. That's tough to do, and somehow they continue to get it done. So
yeah. Okay. Last little bit before we start our preview show. This has to be talked about because for some fucking reason this guy is popping back up. I had no idea. It just came out of nowhere all of a sudden. Okay, I guess we're talking about him again.
Yeah.
John Jones called out Brock Lesnar. He says, hey, heavyweight, let's fucking do it, pretty much. I mean, obviously he didn't say that, but, he wants it. And Stipe chimes in, hey, if anybody's getting a Brock fight, it's me. Dude, nobody's fighting Brock. You're not fighting him, guys. He's a WWE superstar now.
Well, he's a free agent now.
Take his fucking name. It's all negotiations. Dude,
So
Brock held up the heavyweight division for a year and a half with that DC bullshit.
Yeah, he did.
And it's like, come on, dude, we don't need that happening again. And it very well could.
I don't think that happens. I think Dana White says, hey, look, you gotta defend your belt, Stipe. We had to wait for you for a year. And again, Stipe is the greatest heavyweight of all time. I'm not taking anything away from him. But we can't see a fight once a year. We can't. We just can't. I think he's going to defend the belt against Francis Ngannou. And though Stipe is the greatest heavyweight of all time, Stipe, listen, we all know how that fight's going to shake out. You're going to KO Brock Lesnar. You're going to take him. You're going to pummel him into the ground, okay? We get it. You are the greatest heavyweight of all time. You think Brock Lesnar can beat you? No.
I don't blame anybody wanting to fight Brock Lesnar because that's a giant money fight. I blame Brock Lesnar for fucking bullshitting with the UFC just to get a better WWE contract. Dude, you're fucking our sport up.
Yeah,
Stay in wrestling, bro.
Yeah, which is really annoying.
Yeah,
it's really annoying. I as you said, I do agree with you. I don't think this fight's going to happen.
No.
But huge asterisks on rather. Francis Ngannou, Stipe. John Jones doesn't need to fight anyone else in the heavyweight championship. He gets the immediate next shot. Period. Yep. End of discussion. Okay. Yep. But if you wanted a tune-up fight at heavyweight, Brock Lesnar's the guy to do it. I mean, for real.
Kicks him in the face.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And you know what? Say what you will. And it fucking pains me to say this. It pains me to say this. But John Jones, for as much shit that he's done and for how irritating he can be sometimes, does the guy not deserve to fight a huge fight?
No,
I mean, I feel bad for him.
Greatest.
I mean, he never really got any superstar fights in his whole career.
Yeah, you're right.
He hasn't. And yeah, he's had his
DC
problems.
Fights. That's it.
Yeah, those are big fights, yes. And no disrespect to them, obviously. But not to that caliber of a Brock Lesnar or a Conor McGregor or a Jorge Masvidal. John Jones kind of deserves it. I mean, he really does. Now, especially being back, and it's the perfect tune-up fight. It's the perfect one to kind of test the waters at heavyweight. And you're fighting a guy you could probably kick his ass anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a win. Well, exactly. It's a win-win for John Jones. Do I see the fight happening? No. I think, as you said, you're right on the money. Brock Lesnar's just trying to negotiate with the WWE. But if it does happen, I mean, John Jones, he deserves it. Like, give him it, and then Stipe, just go out and defend your belt. Because, like, what's more important to you, Stipe? Your legacy or the cash? If the cash
if it's Brock Lesnar, it's the cash.
I know, but
because he already has
then
the
go
legacy.
fucking box.
Yeah.
Go box.
Yeah.
You were just talking about how you wanted to box, and I supported you on the last podcast. I said nothing but good things. I said, Stipe, if you want to go box, go make your money, bro. Go make $15 million. You deserve it. You're the consensus greatest heavyweight of all time. Vacate your UFC belt and retire on top in the UFC and go out and make your money in boxing because you deserve it. But come on, man. Like, if you're going to be the UFC champ, be the UFC champ. You're not going to fight Brock Lesnar. Don't do that. Like, it does nothing for your legacy. We go and we say, okay, cool, he beat Brock Lesnar. The same way we'd say to John Jones, if John Jones went out and beat Brock Lesnar, we'd be like, okay, he beat Brock Lesnar.
I wouldn't be impressed. I wouldn't
Who
be
gives a
impressed
fuck?
either guy. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, Brock Lesnar's not fucking fighting
Yeah,
UFC
I know.
ever again. It's just
But I don't want to see Stipe fighting Brock Lesnar.
I don't want to see anybody fight him.
No, neither do I.
Honestly,
I'd rather
get his
just
ass-
have John Jones
Overeem,
wait
maybe.
for this fight.
You know, Overeem. Let's watch Overeem kick his ass one more time. You know,
I'd like to see that, actually.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
another
mind.
one.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't mind.
Why not?
All right, preview show, Mason. Let's do it. UFC Fight Night, September 12th, 2020. Michelle Waterson, Angela Hill. It's actually I mean, it's not the main event we wanted. We just said that.
Right, but it's not a terrible card either.
It's a pretty good main event.
It is.
I would say. I mean,
Pretty
this
good main
could be
event,
a main
main
event.
card.
You know, this could be a main event of a fight night.
Yeah,
you
definitely could.
I could see this. I could see them making this fight. I mean, Michelle Waterson just had a main event not too long ago with Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
Yep.
Got her ass kicked for 5 rounds. That 5 rounds got her fucked up for 5 rounds, but you know what? She still lasted 5 rounds with Joanna, which is pretty good.
She's a warrior, that's for sure.
Yeah, and so is Angela Hill, man. I mean,
I love Angela Hill.
And what a 2020 she's having, dude.
She is,
great
man.
2020. I mean, I think she got robbed in that Claudia Gadelha
As
fight.
do I. I thought she won that fight. I really do.
You know what? I mean, they're giving her big fights. Michelle Waterson's a big name,
man. And thank God for that. That's something, again, like, thank you, Dana, for especially with fighters like this, like an Angela Hill who is a yes. Like, that's what I like to see. When they're yes people, when they say yes, 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 he rewards these fighters.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people hate Dana and they talk a lot of shit, but you know what? He's kind of a man of his word when it comes to like yes man fighters or yes women fighters, right?
Absolutely.
Like, it's just he does give them good fights. Angela Hill, Michelle Waterson. This is a great matchup. Tabor, how do you see this one going down?
Okay, I gotta pull my picks up. Damn it, I just had it. Well, I mean, I like Michelle Waterson. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Angela Hill's having a great 2020. I mean, just fucking look at the resume. She's been piecing girls up left and right. I got Michelle because I just think she's got the better jiu-jitsu. I think she has the better ground game. I do think she finds a way to get Angela down. And I think she submits her in the 4th round. I think it's going to be a grueling fight till then, though. Yeah. I mean, if this stays on the feet, this is going to be a rough fight for Michelle Waterson. This is a rough fight for both girls because Michelle's got great striking.
Yeah,
she doesn't have the knockout power. Angela Hill does have knockout power. But I just give every advantage on the ground to Michelle. So if she could get it to the ground, I see her submitting her. It's easy as that.
Okay. For me, I got a different pick here. I am really high on Angela Hill. You know, she impressed the hell out of me against Claudia Gadelha. I thought her stand-up looked phenomenal, the way she was landing combinations. And for me, Angela Hill won that fight. I think she's on a winning streak personally. And Michelle Waterson, though as great as she is on the ground, you are absolutely right, Tabor. I think this fight stays on the feet. I think Angela Hill.
She's got great takedown defense.
She does. She's got great takedown defense. And I see Angela Hill winning this fight 3-2. I'm going to go Angela Hill decision.
All right. Ottman Atazar? Azaitar? I don't know. Some fucking Moroccan guy. He's a savage. He's an absolute savage. He's going up against Kama Worthy. He's only had one fight in the UFC, and he flatlined some dude at Khabib's last fight in Abu Dhabi.
Ooh, wow.
Flatlined some dude in the first round. It was very quick. He has knockout power. So does Kama Worthy, though. Kama Worthy is a heavy-handed striker in the lightweight division, so very interesting matchup. You know, I mean, both guys are pretty unknown. You know, you ask any casual guy who fucking Azaitar is, and they're going to be like, who? Like, never heard of him.
Yeah.
Nobody has. And it's okay. You know, they're both, I mean, Zaitar's had one fight in the UFC, so they're both building. This actually is a sneaky fight. It's pretty high up on the card. I mean, it's co-main as of now. I mean, who knows if they add fights or not. I mean, like I said earlier, 5 fights on the card right now. Not a whole lot.
No.
So who knows if this changes? But I mean, it's a decent fight. It could be Astra's fight of the night. Both these guys are savages. They want to stand and bang. So I'm going to Zaitar first round KO. I think they do that for the first round. I think someone going to sleep.
Wow. Okay. Well, I got to be honest. I was super impressed with Kamaworthy fighting Luis Violent Bob Ross Pena
that was
in
a great
his
fight.
last fight. It was a fantastic fight. He ended up pulling out a submission in the third round. And I honestly think he's going to pull that off again. I think this is going to be a gruesome, grueling fight, as you said before. I think it's going to be entertaining. I think it'll be dynamic and fun. And I think Kamaworthy is going to get that third round sub again. I think he's going to go back-to-back third round subs. So I have Kamaworthy third round submission.
Alrighty. Roxanne Modafferi, Andrea Lee. I actually really like this matchup. It's actually a very intriguing fight because Andrea Lee is not a type of girl that like is known to fight off her back or on top, but Roxanne, like she's gonna test that jiu-jitsu.
Oh, I can't do it. Hold on. Roxanne. The police, great.
Roxanne is gonna test that jiu-jitsu. Like if your jiu-jitsu is not on point with Roxanne Modafferi, you're either getting tapped out or you're getting ground on for 3 fucking rounds. So this is a very interesting matchup. And I'm going to give every advantage on the feet to Andrea. Andrea Lee is a very good kickboxer.
Yep.
Very, very good kickboxer in this division. So this was I want to say it was tough, but when it comes to jiu-jitsu and the ground game, I'm going to go Roxanne Modafferi every time. If she finds a way to get it down to the ground, I just don't see Andrea Lee hanging with her at all. So I'm saying Modafferi decision. I would be shocked if she laid on her for 3 rounds, really ground her out, hit some big ground and pound, and just beat her up.
Alrighty. Yeah, I'm really liking the dog in this one at a plus 250. Roxanne Modafferi versus
Right, she's an underdog?
Andrea Lee, plus 250.
What?
If I'm a betting man, which I am, I'd be going laying a bone on Roxanne Modafferi at a plus 250.
Like,
I think
crazy.
these odds are way
That's
too
terrible.
way too far apart. Though, I mean, definitely Andrea Lee, as you said before, as you mentioned before, I mean, she's great on the feet.
Yeah.
But Roxanne Modafferi, I feel like Roxanne...
Everyone sleeps on her.
Yeah, you're right. Everyone counts her out all the time. And she'll go out and pull off wins that you're like, oh, wow, no one had her winning this fight. I think if Roxanne Modafferi can get Andrea Lee to the ground, I think it can be just a grind. Like a grind, man. And believe it or not, I see a lot of subs happening on this card. I also have third round sub Roxanne Modafferi. I think she'll get the job done. I think she'll wear on her, and in that third round, she's going to sink in that choke, and it's all she wrote after that.
Yeah,
man.
it's a rough matchup.
I like that
for
plus
Andrea.
250.
Yeah,
I really like that.
So that's extra point worthy for both of us now.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. Let's fucking go. I need that point. Need it. That's a rough matchup for Andrea. It really is. Like, you put her up against a striker, it's a great fucking fight all night. It's a 3-round war, but I mean, this is going to be a rough fight for her.
It will be.
I'm very intrigued. So, local boy, Ed Herman versus Mike Rodriguez. Oh boy, I'm actually very excited for this fight. This is a light heavyweight fucking banger, dude. I think 3-round war maybe. This is a rough fight for me to pick because I really want to go with local boy, but Mike Rodriguez is... I mean, we just saw that last KO. What was that, first round a couple weeks ago?
Yep.
That was pretty vicious. So this is a fight. This is going to be a real fight. This is going to be a fucking
fight.
a dog fight. Standing in the pocket, trading. Someone might go to sleep. Ed Herman, third round TKO. I have to go with it.
Alrighty, and you will get the extra point because an Ed Herman is at a plus 210 right now on the books. And Mike Rodriguez coming in at the favorite at minus 250. Tabor, I think this is going to be a great fight. As you said, they're going to stand and bang these two. Mike Rodriguez coming off that knockout against Pacino in the first round. I mean, god damn. But you look at Ed Herman, too. He just knocked out Patrick Cummings not too long ago in the first round.
And the dude's got a chin of the fucking gods.
Yes,
like, he
does.
goes to war. Like, people
really
don't
does.
understand. This man shows up and fucking was willing to die in the cage.
ring. Yeah.
He goes to fucking war every time, and he's got a hell of a chin. This is going to be a fucking
you
war,
can't
dude.
put him
I really
away,
see this
Evie.
going 3 rounds.
I really like the power of Mike Rodriguez here. I'm going to go second round KO. Rodriguez, I think, just coming off that win not too long ago against Pacino. I mean, that might have been, 2 months ago at most? A month and a half, 2 months ago. And I just think he's the fresher fighter here. I'm going to go Mike Rodriguez, second round TKO.
Already. So
KO, TKO, whatever.
Billy Quarantillo versus Kyle Nelson. So Kyle Nelson, I'm not going to lie, I've been following this guy his entire career. I love this Kyle Nelson kid. Keep an eye on him because he's an absolute fucking savage. I'm just joking. I have no idea who this guy is.
Well, he just beat Marco Polo Reyes.
Okay, I still have no idea who that is.
Yeah, we watched this fight. I remember us watching this
I
fight.
remember this Kyle. I looked up this Kyle Nelson guy's highlights, and he looked like a fucking beast, dude.
Yeah.
Looked like a goddamn beast. Like he was just dominating people on the feet and the ground. So this is a rough matchup for Quarantillo. I mean, Quarantillo, we got to remember, he came off that huge win over Spike Carlisle just a few weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago, actually. What an upset that was. No one saw that coming because Spike Carlisle was just a freak. Absolutely jacked freak. I mean, freaking blew his load in the first, and then Quarantillo just had his night with him for 2 rounds after that. So Quarantillo really showed in that fight that, you know, he could take on these guys that are really, really dominant in some of these other fights and weather through that storm, maybe let him gas a little, and then take control from there. So I'm going Quarantillo, but I'm going Quarantillo 2nd round sub. I think he finds a way to maybe take his back and get that rear naked.
I really do try not to look at your picks beforehand. For this very last pick, I wrote out 2nd round sub. I peeked up at yours, and I'm like, you son of a bitch, neighbor. So I'm going to go. I had the exact same thing, though. I think Quarantillo's fantastic
he's really good.
fighter. I'm excited for this one as well. And this is a hell of a fight to open up the card.
Yeah.
You know, Kyle Nelson coming in at a plus 200, so he's a pretty big dog here. But you got to go with Billy Quarantillo after seeing everything that he can do. I have him 1st round sub.
Alrighty, Mason. Well, another one, Mason. Another great episode. Another one in the books. So everybody, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at the Church of MMA. We're posting funny memes. We're making you guys laugh. Clips of the show. Hit us up.
Check out our YouTube channel too, The Church of MMA. We are almost to 100 subscribers, guys, so please be sure to go hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification as we drop videos there all the time, guys. My name is Mason Knight. That is Tabor Cragen, and this is The Church of MMA.
Peace.